Security cameras captured the tense moment a man disguised as a delivery worker tried to rob someone on a quiet street. But his target wasn't ordinary. It was an off-duty police officer. When the criminal bent down to grab an item the officer had deliberately dropped, the trap was sprung. A bold and dangerous robbery erupted when two armed suspects stormed into a convenience store, one of them firing wildly without warning. Caught in the chaos, the store owner and an employee dove for cover, narrowly escaping the barrage. But they weren't about to surrender. Acting fast, they returned fire in self-defense and triggered the alarm. The store clerk acted wisely. Instead of rushing into danger, he allowed the thief to feel overconfident, casually taking the goods. Then, in one sudden move, he struck, catching the crook completely off guard. A swift and decisive act of self-defense by a store owner turned the tables in spectacular fashion, stopping an armed robbery dead in its tracks. In a moment worthy of an action movie, the owner didn't flinch. With precision and courage, they faced down the armed attacker, thwarting the crime before it could spiral out of control.
What you guys need? Right up. Hurry up. Come on, nigga. Hurry up.
A suspect was desperately fleeing from police when fate took an unexpected turn. Out of nowhere, a dog on a casual walk charged forward, colliding with the runaway and knocking him to the ground. The sudden takedown stunned everyone, giving officers the perfect chance to close in and capture the fugitive on the spot. Two robbers walked in pretending to be customers, but their act didn't last long. In an instant, one pulled out a gun and aimed it at the woman behind the counter, shouting for her to hand over the cash. What they didn't know was that her husband was watching, and he was ready. Without a moment's hesitation, he drew his weapon and opened fire to protect her. Panic erupted. One robber bolted for the exit, while the other dove for cover behind a row of chairs. But there was no way out. Within seconds, both were neutralized. What started as an ordinary day at the store exploded into chaos when two armed robbers stormed in, threatening the woman behind the counter and demanding money. But before they could make another move, her husband sprang into action, swift, fearless, and ready to protect. In seconds, he opened fire, forcing the attackers to flee. He was known as a petty theft expert, slipping away countless times before. But today, his luck finally ran out. A quiet morning turned chaotic when a middle-aged couple arrived home, only to be ambushed at their gate by two men speeding in on a motorbike. Without warning, the passenger leapt off, pulled out a gun, and demanded cash and the couple's motorbike. But instead of freezing in fear, the woman did something no one expected. She fought back. With fierce determination, she slapped the armed thug across the face several times, stunning both robbers and forcing them to retreat in panic. In a bizarre twist, before fleeing, the cowards had the audacity to turn back and mock her one last time. In the middle of a crowded street, two thieves launched a daring attempt in broad daylight. One crouched on the sidewalk, using a power cutter to grind through the heavy chains securing a parked motorcycle. The other circled nearby on another bike, acting as lookout and getaway driver. For nearly a full minute, the sparks flew, yet the chain refused to break. All of this happened in the open, with pedestrians and traffic passing by, as if the criminals were daring the city to watch. Their reckless persistence revealed just how bold and desperate they were willing to be. It began like any normal day at a small clothing shop. Quiet, routine, nothing out of the ordinary. Three men walked in, pretending to browse through the racks like regular customers. But in a split second, everything changed. One of them pulled out a gun, aiming it directly at the shop owner and demanding cash. Instead of panicking, the owner stayed calm, eyes steady, heart unwavering. His composure and quiet confidence threw the robbers off balance. Realizing they had picked the wrong target, the men soon backed away in fear and fled.